And we're back.
Everybody. So black people. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
So here's the
wait.
thing.
We're gonna get racist.
Here's
and
what I
the first
think.
thing you talk about is black people.
We're gonna yes, because they are a race.
You can be racist.
Look, Chris. Okay. Here's what I think about racism. Here's honestly what I think about this whole fad of like everything being racist and blah 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 blah. Like, look, there are racist people out in America, right?
Yes.
But that doesn't that doesn't mean that everyone's like has a like a preconceived programming or whatever that's gonna make you like they're trying to sell this idea that everyone subconsciously is like being racist and they don't even know it. You know what I mean? Which I think is completely dangerous territory because all of a sudden that makes everyone second guess every single fucking decision that they make, and that's fucking stupid. That's fucking dumb. I do think though that there's nothing wrong with prejudice. I think that's a survival instinct that keeps people from doing things that they shouldn't do based on like observing where they are and who they are around and sort of like the situation you're in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's as a species we do that to just sort of
it's like
get
10 million years of evolution.
Right. You go to certain neighborhoods, regardless of what race they are, you need to be careful about what you're doing. Or vice versa, you feel more safe around certain places.
Unless it's a white neighborhood.
That's what I'm saying. Like
that's the neighborhood where you generally don't have to worry.
If whatever the race is, if it's affluent or whatever, chances are crime's going to be like lower there. It doesn't matter what race.
And if it's affluent, then it's most likely white.
Okay, fine. Chris.
That's what you're. At
least.
At.
Fine.
No, I agree. All right, I'm
fine.
just trying to confirm that we both agree that white.
Well,
people...
I'm just saying you can see that in Japan. You can see that in like different parts of the world.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be exclusive.
I apologize to everyone for my bad playing. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But it's more important to solve the racism issue, I would think, than
but that's my point. That's my point. There is no issue. Like I remember when Black Lives Matters was at the peak of its movement. Mm-hmm. Like there was so many instances where they confronted these activists. Were like, okay, listen, our heads are our ears are open, our minds are open. Mm-hmm. What is it that you guys want? What can we do to appease what this big movement is about? And they didn't have, for the longest time, they didn't have an answer to that question. So it just goes to show you that like they weren't holding a lot of water because legislation as it is right now, everyone has an equal opportunity. If anybody out there, and that's what's beautiful about the idea of America, because ideas, that's all it is. It's just like America is just an idea. So either you're supporting that idea that like if you work hard and you try hard, like you're gonna get a chance, right? Like that's something that we all have to agree on. But if you're going around telling everybody that you're predisposition to fail and that there's this boogeyman out there who's trying to stop you, like that's actually making things worse. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that is what I think about racism in America.
What? That's an interesting. Okay, that thing went into him, and it's supposed to do. I don't know what.
But anyway,
no, that's interesting because I've often asked the same question when it's like, check your privilege, white male, you have privilege. My mind goes right to trying to figure out what my privilege is because, like, as far as I know, I haven't been handed a goddamn thing in my life.
Right.
Everything I do, I have had to work for.
Right.
Having had a child, I can now say that, like, it's terrifying how much a parent determines how well a child will be equipped to coexist with other children who are raised. Like, a parent absolutely determines how hard or easy a time that child will have making it through life. Because
you think that a lot of it has to do with nurture, then, so you're advocate for that more than anything.
Well, I would say that if a minority or a poor white person is saying, oh, I've been dealt a poor hand, they're right in the sense that if you grew up in a ghetto, the odds are lower because you just have had no one to show you how to live, how to work, how to.
Oh, so you're talking about a matter of like education,
right?
And awareness of what's out there.
And I guess like you could say that the war on drugs is really a masquerade for like a war on the poor and minorities, and it was a way to kind of build up this prison population, which we now use as slave labor, and on paper those things are true, and you could construe them that way, and you could say, well, the government invests more in bombing other countries than it does in educating its poor, and in that way you could say the cards are stacked against me, I guess. But at the same time, you cannot say with a straight face that America is not a country where if you work your hardest and try and try, no one can stop you from achieving what you want to do.
Sure.
A random cop can be a dick
Right.
and imprison you,
Right.
and that absolutely happens.
Right.
But, like, there's for sure a certain percentage of people, not just black, white, poor, whatever, who are blaming someone else
Right.
for their,
And see,
for their misfortune.
I have
and they
I have a certain perspective because I grew up around a lot of Hispanics who were always trying to get me sort of to come down to that sort of thinking, where it was like, listen, there were always like special interest groups. Oh, what is that about?
I just double clicked.
You just barked. That's all you did.
Okay, so that thing's moving now.
Oh,
All
so
right.
then you move that closer to that thing.
Is this? Oh, maybe it'll.
Does it follow you?
Okay.
Oh, what the fuck? Well, we got all that
okay.
racism talk out of the way.
Hey, all right. I don't understand that, but
Oh, it's like a dog penis. Look at that.
oh yeah, it's a little
It's a little lipstick.
little lipstick coming out.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that though, because like growing up, there was always like my certain friends of mine who were like, "Hey, you should come join the Super Hispanic Club at school." I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, okay, I'll go, whatever." And I'd go there, and it would just be like everybody bitching and complaining about the government. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I'm in high school. I don't give a shit about this. I just want to play video games and draw. You know what I mean? And so, and then I went off and like I did good in school, and I went to college and blah blah blah. And it's all just because like I had developed decent habits. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
And
right.
everybody else is just like pooping their pants. And I'm like, well, this is not healthy thinking. And that's when I see certain like activist groups, like if they don't have a plan of action or there's not anything specific that they're going for, then you guys are they're just complaining. Like
Right,
I don't understand
right.
what the point is. Like you have to make something for yourself a lot of the times.
Yeah, it's like, if the Black Lives Matter movement, if their demands were, because I think one of their demands is to release all nonviolent drug offenders from jail.
Oh, right.
Like,
eventually they came
sweet.
up with that list, right? Eventually they had, here's exactly what we want. And a lot of that stuff was like free college and release all these felons. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what?
Well, nonviolent drug offenders, that I can agree with. I think we should release.
Sure,
basically.
they should all be
But like
given handguns.
The concept of free handgun, but the concept of like reparations is like, where do you draw that line? Because the freaking Indians should get reparations. If the concept is, hey, we built this country, therefore we need to be paid for that, for what our ancestors did. It's like, really, we should all leave and give it back to the Indians and just be done.
You know, that is another sensitive issue that I do think about sometimes, because there is sort of this way of the universe where if a certain group of whatever comes in and takes over, is that necessarily something that needs to be apologized for? Is that something that, like, I mean, it's really ugly and nasty and people died over it, but like, you look at what America has become, you know what I mean? Like in terms of like how much value it's added to the world.
Right.
You got to look at like,
well, and also
does the positive that the United States is doing outweigh the negative? Like that's a real question you have to think about. And if so, like, because otherwise, how far back do you have to apologize to? Then do the Indians then have to apologize to the people that they probably
the
killed?
Incans or the Mayans or whatever, yeah.
Like it's just this never-ending going backwards of apologies. It's like to me that's regressive. Like you got to be thinking
horse tree.
Here we are.
No, I agree, man. I think, especially because I think we are in a post-colonialism era. Like that doesn't really happen anymore.
Right.
And that probably won't happen anymore. Like
not for a while, anyways.
Well, until the Mormons get big enough and want their own country.
They get their own planet, don't they?
But each one gets their own planet. No, I mean, it's a weird time, man. It's a weird time. People are like fed up with the way things kind of are.
I think at least things are cooling down now, thankfully, and people just can get back to like focusing.
Dude, you don't think there's going to be a huge riot on the 19th or whatever?
Are they planning something?
Well, I really don't think that they'll try to say Hillary won, but there's going to be a huge like, Oh, it was Michael Moore's like rallying some protest on inauguration day.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, I don't know that we're out of the woods yet. I think people are still pissed and
As long as they don't make my workday shitty, whatever.
yeah, just stay off the roads, man. Let me get to work.
Have you seen those videos of people getting hit by cars? The protesters.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, dude!
I bet there's like a montage out there.
It's pretty bad, yeah. And these people are just like getting maimed because they're not even paying attention to what they're doing. They're just like, we're making a difference, and we're gonna stop the work. We're gonna stop everybody's work day, and then they
People
fucking
are
get
like-
hit. It's terrible, man.
Dude, that reminds me of that video you showed me. I don't know what I'm doing again.
but
we
we
should
will know on the next episode.
on the next episode.